So we're not just gonna get on Jesus. We're not just gonna stay on Jesus, because when you draw the parallels between Jesus and his father, right? So if his father was supposed to be the God of the Old Testament, the God of the Old Testament said he was jealous. Or should we say, one of the gods of the Old Testament said that he was a jealous God. He also said that his name was jealous. And Jesus said that he came in his father's name. He came in his father's name. Now Jesus is coming telling you not to put your family before him. Right? He's saying that you must basically disown your family. If you're going to follow him, if you're going to be in his family, you must deny your family. Right? And this is the will of his father. His father being jealous. When you think about the God who was jealous in the Old Testament, or when you just think about the God of the Old Testament saying, Israel only have I known. Israel, he put Israel above all the families, right, over the earth. He said, Israel only have I known. So the God of the Old Testament is picking and choosing who he want to be in his family. And he's telling you that Israel is the only family that he's known. He wasn't dealing with nobody else. He wasn't dealing with no other nations. So how's Jesus any different than this God of the Old Testament who is telling you, who is saying that he considers Israel only to be his family, the nation of Israel? And so Jesus comes along and he says pretty much the same thing. He came in his father's name. His father's name is jealous. And Jesus is telling you, you must put him before anybody else. You must love him more than anybody else, even your own life. Right? So not only must you hate your family to love Jesus, but you must hate your own life. He told you to hate your own life. That life, life is supposed to be a gift. Right? Now life seems to be a curse for us, because they say that we was born in sin. Now we need to be saved. Right? Now we need to be born again. Because this first life wasn't a gift, it was a curse. So it's an interesting parallel. Well, you see, when you think about the fact that even Jesus' family didn't believe in him until he was resurrected. His brothers didn't believe in him. All the miracles that he did, the Bible says he did so many miracles that it couldn't be contained in all the books of the world. So with all the miracles, all the works that Jesus did, it says a whole lot that his brothers did not believe in him until he was resurrected. Right? Until he was resurrected. When you think about God's model of family, God's family model, when you think about how God, the God of the Old Testament, deals with children, the God of the Old Testament, killing children, killing all the firstborn. When you think about the simple fact that the Bible devalues women, period. The Bible says the woman should be sold for 30 shekels and the man should be sold for 50 shekels. The Bible values men more than women. The Bible tells you that the woman was the cause for all of this hell that we go through, for this curse that we're under right now. Eve was to be subjected to Adam because Eve disobeyed, when the Bible tells you that both of them disobeyed. Eve just disobeyed first. So my mother doesn't know that the Bible devalues women. And that's important to know that. When you look at the first miracle that Jesus did, and Mary basically told Jesus them to listen to Jesus. Listen to what he said. Basically, they ran out of wine, and Mary told Jesus to basically, you know what I'm saying, come up with some more wine. Help us out. And Jesus said, woman, what does that have to do with me? When you see how Jesus dealt with his mother, it don't seem to be much love. When they found him in the temple, when he walked off, right, he left his parents. They didn't know where he was for 3 days. He was missing. And then he told his mother what? He said, did you not know that I must be about my Father's business? So does that give you reason to disobey your parents, or to go out for 3 days and they not know where you at? If you really value your mom, or you value your family, and you honor them like the Bible says we supposed to obey our parents, we're supposed to honor our parents. So when you see God's family model, God killing his son, sacrificing his son, is that a good model for the family? The Bible devaluing women, putting all the blame on women, saying that women must be subject to men. Is that a good family model? Right? Saying that you must disown your family. You must hate your family. Even your own life. You must deny your own life. You must lose your life. The only life that we know that we have, you must lose that. So, is that a good family model for us? You know, it's something to think about. It's a lot to think about. And that's why, well, Jesus told you to count the cost. Most people haven't counted the cost of what they have to give up. But I would argue that you have to give up a lot more when you stop believing it all. Right? Because even when you stop believing, your family gonna look at you crazy. A lot of your family gonna look at you crazier than you were when you were a Christian. But it's funny how they think that we're crazy, that we sound crazy when we stop believing, when the Bible tells you that they thought Jesus was crazy for saying what he said. So who sound more like Jesus? The believer or the non-believer? Think about it.